As a teenager, acne everywhere, that horrible kind of cystic acne that's just all over your face and your neck and your back and your shoulders, and you just don't even want to go out in the world. I remember when I was 14, I was walking down the alley in the little town in Pennsylvania where I grew up, and as I'm going down the alley, I see Cousin Josephine coming toward me up the other side of the alley. Cousin Josephine lived in the little town in Pennsylvania where I grew up, and she lived on the main street of the town. And I'm not sure whose cousin she was, because we all called her Cousin Josephine. Everybody in town called her Cousin Josephine. She was about 105 years old. She lived by herself in this house. She always wore a fur coat and high-heeled shoes, even in July, which is when I was about to encounter her in the alley. And so I'm walking down the alley. Cousin Josephine's coming toward me. I sort of wish I could kind of dodge off to the side, but she's seen me coming, so I have to go through with it. So I just march right up to her and say, "Good morning, Cousin Josephine." And she stops and she reaches up and she just pats my cheek, just right here. And she says, "Oh, such beautiful skin." And in my mind I thought, are you crazy? I realized she had probably touched the one part of my face that wasn't actively a pimple at that moment. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And then she said, "So young." And I looked at her skin, and her skin was like a fine leather glove that's been crumpled and then released. It was just a beautiful network of wrinkles. But I thought that's what she meant. My skin's young. It's beautiful. But I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel even particularly comfortable in my skin, certainly not in that little Pennsylvania town. Not in New England where I went to college. It wasn't until I came out to Oregon when I was 21 years old. Came out to Oregon to do a year of volunteer service, live in community, change the world, and change myself at the same time. I decided I was going to be different. I was going to be comfortable in my skin here in Oregon. And so I got a new wardrobe immediately. I went down to Andy and Bax, which is a military supply store here in Portland. I got a pair of camouflage pants. Now, this was the early 80s. This was before anybody even heard of camouflage pants if you weren't in the military. In fact, the pair I got had a guy's name stitched in the waistband, and I hope he just retired from active service. That's what I hope. So I got this pair of camo pants, big belt, and I was going to lots of rallies and protests, so there was an endless supply of T-shirts with slogans on them. And you may remember those T-shirt slogans of the 80s. The T-shirts had to be long because the slogans were wordy. They were like, "Why do we kill people who kill people to show that killing people is wrong?" Or, "It will be a great day when schools have all the money they need and the Army has to have a bake sale to raise a bomber." So you need a long T-shirt to get all those words in. So I had my radical T-shirts, I had my camo pants, I was a new person, I was saying yes to everything. Yes to tofu, new way of eating. Yes to Tai Chi, new way of moving. And when my housemate's coworker came to me one February day and said, "Do you want to go with us up to Bagby Hot Springs and soak?" I said, "Yes." Even after she said, "You realize we'll be in the skins." Naked? Mm-hmm. "Yes," I said, because by gosh, I was going to be different. And so I found myself later in the week, in February, in back of course, a VW bus going up to Bagby. Bagby is about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Portland in the Mount Hood National Forest. And I remember we were going up these mountain roads and just huge, tall evergreens all around us. When we got to Bagby Hot Springs, at the time, all the outdoor coverings had burned down. This, again, was the early 80s. So what Bagby was a platform on the side of a very steep hill. And you didn't actually soak in the hot springs. They had long, hollowed-out logs on this platform. And there were a series of pipes that you pulled in and filled the log up with the water from the hot springs. Then you got in the log and soaked. So we went into the little guest house to shed our clothes because, you don't want to disrobe in front of strangers. And then we came out, hopped in the log. I hopped in one end, my housemate hopped in the other. We pulled the pipe over, hot water gushed out of it, the log filled up, and there I was, soaking in this log, soaking in the hot springs. It was amazing. I looked down, I could see my skin under the water, all pink and sort of wavery. And there was the The side of the log was kind of rough, and it was all open to the air, so all around us there were cedar trees, pine trees just rising up to the sky, and it was misty and foggy like it is here in Oregon in February, in this part of Oregon. And so the mist was coming down and the steam from the hot tub was rising up, and I thought, I am really somewhere different. This is not Pennsylvania anymore. I am being so different right now. This is fantastic. I am really becoming the kind of person I wanted to be. And then I realized the person I wanted to be was getting kind of pruny around the edges, and it might be time to take a little break from the hot tub. So I start to get ready to get out, and the camp host sees that I'm getting ready. He comes over. You could tell that he was the camp host because he was wearing a hat. And a smile, a very nice smile. He said, oh, you're getting out. He said, now, you know, what you need to do now, you need to get that tub as hot as you possibly can. Get that water stoked up. You want to raise your body temperature, and then when you get out of the tub, you'll be hot, and you can take your time getting dressed. You know, you won't catch cold. Well, he had the hat. Okay, we pull the pipe in, we stoke the water, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and I take it as long as I can stand it until I have that feeling that I'm actually sweating in the water, you know, that horrible feeling. Oh, all right, that's it, I've had enough. Swinging myself around, I'm sitting on the edge of the log, kind of balancing myself, my feet are dangling down, the hill drops down below me, all the pine trees rise up all around me, and there's steam literally rising off my skin because I'm so hot. And it's mingling with the mist, and I'm just really in my new being. And I take a deep breath of my new life, and I passed out. Blacked out completely, tumbled down the hill. In the skins, right? In the skins, tumbling down the hill. Came to at the bottom of the hill. I see this ring of sweaty faces around me because everybody's hopped out of their log when they see I've come to grief. So somebody's got my head and somebody else is dabbing at my knee because I've gashed it open. And are you all right? I said, I think so. Do you want some juice? Yeah, juice, that'd be good. Carrot or apple? Don't worry, it's organic. Wow, I thought, I am really not in Pennsylvania anymore. And then I realized, no, you're not. Here I was, in Oregon, in my own skin, a little bruised, a little battered, a few mossy patches and some pitchy bits here and there, but in my own skin. And that's where I've been ever since.